Hi, this is Gadi Elkon with Selig Film News, here with the writer-director of SEOUL SEARCHing, Benson Lee. Benson, this is something that's been with you for so long. What's it like being able to showcase it now? I mean, this has been 15 plus years you've had this idea. I mean, I know it's a very personal story.
Yeah.
What's it mean to you to finally be able to showcase this, outside of Sundance, outside of LA? Now it's coming, across the country, basically.
Yeah. Well, I'm just really happy that I made this before I died. And on top of that, I'm just really, like any filmmaker who's gone on a really long journey, it's quite a gift to be able to share with an audience, especially across this great nation of ours. And I'm really super happy to be in the South, and this is my first time in Texas. So it's interesting because audiences, on one hand, they're very different than other regions, but on the other, they're the same. So it's just amazing. It's just a gift to be able to share your movie that took so long, and it's just sweeter if it took longer in a way.
Yeah.
Because it's more of a victory to share a movie with an audience. So it feels amazing. Yeah.
Was it tough to be open about yourself, about some of your friends? I mean, was it ever, when you were writing the script, is it tough to dive back into what it was like when you were a young man?
Well, I mean, this is a teen comedy on one hand, so the comedic stuff is really easy. But in terms of the more personal issues that we cover, like father-son relationship, those kind of things, they're a little bit sensitive. And but at the end of the day, I mean, as long as it's the truth, it's actually a pretty cathartic experience to be able to explore things that are personal to you through a movie. And I hope that's the same for audiences. Now, of course, they're not as connected to it as I am, but I hope that it has that sort of impact on them too.
I definitely felt it. I thought it was really emotional. And even not just fathers and sons, but mothers and daughters.
Oh yeah.
I was impressed that you went to showcasing what it's like for someone who's adopted.
Yeah.
I thought that storyline was beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Where did that come from? Where was that inspiration?
Sure. Well, that was one of the few characters that wasn't based on the reality of what I experienced. And it was important for me to include adoptees because a lot of people don't know this, but international adoption started in Korea.
Really?
Yeah, after the Korean War. There's a lot of orphans after the war, so they actually, they kind of turned it into an industry in a way, But you had all these Koreans who were shipped around the world who were adopted into non-Korean families, and basically they were raised as not Korean. They were raised as either Americans, Germans, or wherever they went. But there was a huge influx of orphans that left Korea, and they made this very special segment of the diaspora of Koreans, which I wanted to include because, part of the big theme in this movie is about searching for your identity. And of course, adoptees understand that theme a lot in comparison to other people, So I wanted to include that because I've had a lot of adoptee friends, and they are absolutely a part of our diaspora. So that's the main reason.
Was it nice then because you guys showcased the kids going to the DMZ zone?
Yeah.
I know that there's a comedic element to that, but that also, there's some heart to that, and
sure.
Obviously the history behind it. What was it like being able to showcase that side of it? That there is very much still something that's raw and fresh about the Korean War.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one war that never ended. Yeah. A lot of people don't know that. But the demilitarized zone is sort of like where they drew a truce between North and South Korea. And, it's not that, films are meant to, educate people on everything, but it's nice to touch on things that I'm always not only entertained but educated about other cultures through movies. So I wanted to take that opportunity, to make something funny, but also use it as a way for people to become aware of some things. So, yeah, filmmaking, you get to have those opportunities to do that. So, yeah.
What about different types of you've had a long history with the beatbox and dancing and breakdancing and being able to showcase young Koreans from different parts of the world that are embracing the different cultures. Was that something that was fun? And
oh yeah,
that must have been just a blast.
It's almost like everything I've ever been interested in, everything I've ever experienced can be channeled through a movie. And having a large ensemble cast is quite a challenge, but it just gives it such a pastiche of so many different characters, which make up this whole. And I just love that, for me, I wanted to show how Koreans who went to other countries and who adopted their cultures like we did as Americans. I'm Korean American, but still, like, if I go to Korea, I'm American. And if I'm in America, I'm kind of Korean American. So it's an interesting experience that like these bicultural people go through. And it's just great to show that we've got people who might not necessarily look like they're from that culture, but the German guy's German, the Spanish guy's Spanish, and we were all ambassadors of our culture at that time. So it's to me, another level of showing how diverse the world is, in a way,
Now, I'm curious, when you talk about going back to Seoul and Korea, you do a good job of trying to showcase that American side while you're there. I mean, you've got TV projects, you've got projects to showcase your American side when you're over there. Is that something that you're passionate about? Is that something you want to do?
You mean my...
Like, aren't you working on a TV show over there?
No, it's not over there. I was working on something over there, but it's actually kind of morphed into other things. But yeah, I mean, TV is just like a great opportunity also another opportunity for me to showcase diversity. So for me, I'm really more concerned about, just sharing and displaying, using media as a way to show how diverse our country is. We all have all kinds of friends from different backgrounds, but the truth is media doesn't really show that so much. And I think the next step is really to show how we live in a multicultural country. We live in one of the most diverse countries in the world, but I just don't think our media reflects that. So that's always been sort of an inspiration for me, a theme that I wanted to pursue in the rest of my career, and show how it's not how we're so different from each other, but how we have, we're all Americans in a way, and we all communicate, and we all understand each other, but we have differences that have to do with our culture, our history. I mean, you could take a white person from Texas, and you can take a white person from like Vermont, and there's different cultural facets. And so, or someone from California or someone from Canada, and there's different cultural facets to people. And I think that's one thing we all have in common. And I want to celebrate that, what we have in common. I think that's a really important thing to do in the media as we move forward.
I'm curious, how has Sundance impacted you, and what is the importance of a festival like Sundance doing for different communities, different types of people? It does seem to find the films that maybe other film festivals won't showcase.
Sure. I mean, Sundance is a great festival. I mean, it's one of the most important festivals in the world, in my opinion. And, they've showcased a lot of diversity, which is great. But, all festivals are important because they bring movies that aren't seen normally in the theaters to their communities. So this is an important festival to me, to have the opportunity to come here, experience it, go eat at Heart 8. And actually, I went to Alamo Drafthouse today. I would love to come back here and show my movie there. It's one of my all-time favorite theaters in the United States. I love what they're doing. So, it's great. The festival lets me showcase my movie to an audience that might not normally see it. Get them it's inspiring for me to get to be here and meet people and go see Alamo Drafthouse, see how, I'm in the projection room and just like checking it out. I'm just like, wow, this is a great movie theater. So, it's all those things that make festivals in every region really important.
Are you thinking about ever jumping back in the documentary world? Do you like the fiction side of it? I mean, what are you wanting to do?
Documentaries are tough, but I'm really a fiction filmmaker. But I really respect documentaries. It's just that they take so long. And it's such a struggle. And I'm older now, and like I got a kid, and like I can't really afford it in a way. But I am focused on building a film fund for promoting diversity, and I want to help support the next generation of filmmakers, and that includes doc filmmakers. So that's one of my big projects, actually.
Working with such a young cast then, and working with a lot of actors who aren't really known, and finding some that have never been in film. Can you talk a bit about that and showcasing them?
Yeah, I mean, it's like finding a diamond in the rough, when you find, it's kind of like with actors, it's kind of similar to singers. Like you'll have like these shows like American Idol, and you just find this raw talent, and all you want to do is cultivate that and hope that they will, you know, continue evolving and be really great. Because there is raw acting talent out there, just like there's raw singers, but they need to be discovered. So we did a casting call on Facebook. I found a few of my actors through that process, and it was just one of the greatest things I ever did for this project was to go out there and take a chance on. And to me, it's not even taking a chance. I like working with non-actors.
You know, James is going to do the Q&A with you guys, and he broke out his 1986 Air Force Ones. I'm curious, what's it like seeing people step back into their own 1980s because of your film?
You kidding me? I mean, I'm an 80s child, and anyone who, you know, it's just like every era is special, but the 80s was really special. And, you know, when I see people from that era, it's great because it was an amazing era in terms of creativity, and especially for pop culture. You know, MTV was born, and like, you know, pop culture is quite a phenomenon. And, you know, I really, I feel like it was kind of the last innocent era before, you know, smartphones and internet. So, you know, I wanted to preserve that in my movie, in Soul Searching, you know, and show that, you know, kids who are still naive, still kind of sheltered, are like go through who kind of value the whole sense of discovery more, you know, because nowadays it's like everyone knows everything. Yeah. So
and it's instant. Yeah,
it's pretty instant. Yeah,
totally get that.
Yeah.
Well, since I was kind of wrong about your TV show, tell us what you're working on now and what we can expect from you.
Sure. I am working on a movie that I would like to shoot in Korea and the United States. It's kind of focused on K-pop.
Okay.
Yeah. That's all I can tell you right now because I don't really have an outline for it. But I mean, that's something I've been thinking about for a while. But the real big thing for me is I'm actually having to self-distribute Soul Searching, and we're actually going to launch our Indiegogo campaign next week. Because, you know, it's been very hard to get distributors to take a risk on a all-Asian film.
Definitely. Yeah.
But I really believe that there's an audience out there for this movie. And it's just, I want to have a fair shake at the box office. But what we're doing, which is different than normal, is we're creating an experience around the movie. And that's why I like Alamo Drafthouse so much, because we are taking the movie on tour. We're taking our cast with us. And then after a premiere, we're going to try to have a premiere in every city. And then after the premiere, we're having this epic 80s party. And we really are encouraging people to come in their favorite 80s costume, like, you know, their favorite 80s movie character, or the musicians, or whatever. And then we have a contest. We're doing the Soul Train lineup, where everyone gets to dance down the Soul Train. And we're filming it. We're getting like 3 celebrity 80s judges, you know. I can't name who they are right now for LA, but they're big 80s celebrities. And then we want to share that with the rest of the nation, that, you know, it's really about celebrating diversity. And also the 80s. And, you know, just like raising awareness around the importance of that, but having fun too, you know, so that's our goal.
Very nice. Well, the film is Soul Searching, and this is filmmaker Benson Lee. Benson, thank you for coming to Dallas.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dallas.